Hi, my name is Erin Leib Smokler. I'm a faculty member here at Drisha. This week's Parsha, Parashat Korach, famously recounts the rebellion of Korach against Moshe and Aharon. Vayikalu al Moshe ve'al Aharon vayimru alehem rav lachem ki kol ha'ida kulam kedoshim ubetocham Hashem umadua titnasu al kahal Hashem vayishma Moshe vayipol al panav. They, that is Korach, Datan, Aviram, and 250 chiefs of the community, combined against Moshe and Aaron and said to them, "You have gone too far, for all of the community are holy, all of them, and the Lord is in their midst. Why then do you raise yourselves above the Lord's congregation?" When Moshe heard this, he fell on his face. Not only does Moshe fall on his face, but Korach and his rowdy bunch suffer a devastating fate for this claim. God will mete out severe punishment against them, and the earth will swallow them alive. I want to take a moment to examine just what Korach did that was so wrong. How misguided was his claim that the entire community is holy? Are we not a Mamlechet Kohanim, a kingdom of priests, and a Goy Kadosh, a sacred community? Are we not an Am Segulah, a treasured people? Furthermore, regarding Moshe's own reaction, why was he so distraught? Just a few chapters ago, in Bamidbar 11, in the episode involving the prophecy of Eldad and Medad, did Moshe himself not, just like Korach, advocate for a fully democratic spirituality? When Yoshua sought to quash the seemingly rogue prophecy, did Moshe not retort, "Hamekhaneh atali, umi yiten kol am Hashem nevi'im, ki yiten Hashem et rucho alehem"? Would that all of the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord put his spirit upon them. Korach's claim seems to affirm just this sentiment, that all of the Lord's people are prophets, or kol ha'am kulam kedoshim, all are equally holy. How then can we make sense of the unambiguous condemnation of Korach's words? I believe that the verses that immediately precede the story of Korach in Bamidbar 15 provide an elucidating contrast. The laws of tzitzit are brought here, culminating with the following words, familiar to many of us. Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hiyitem kedoshim le'elokechem. Ani Hashem Elokechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liyot lachem le'elokim, Ani Hashem Elokechem. Thus you shall be reminded to observe all of my commandments, and you shall be holy to your God. I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I, the Lord, your God. Through tzitzit and the visual reminder that they provide, we are charged here, v'heyitem kedoshim le'elokechem. You shall be holy to God. Herein lies a very subtle but very crucial difference between the spiritual life envisioned by Korach and the spiritual life encouraged by the Torah. Is holiness a fact of our people's existence, or is it an aspiration? Is it a passive genetic inheritance, or the byproduct of active devotion and commitment? Is our guiding directive to be a present-focused awareness of our already attained status, kulam kedoshim, we are all already holy? Or ought it be a future-directed, never fully owned striving, as in kedoshim tihiyu, you shall be holy? The Torah clearly favors the latter model. In the famous words of Parshat Kedoshim, Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael ve'amart alehem kedoshim tihiyu, ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokechem. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the whole Israelite community and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." God symbolizes a status of holiness, a static, reliable, unconditional form of kedusha. Holiness is a definitional fact of God's existence. But the holiness of the Jewish people is an altogether different project, for it is just that. It is a project, a task of a lifetime, something that is ever, essentially, on the horizon of possibility, but never fully achieved. Indeed, the moment that one takes oneself to have achieved holiness is the very moment that it disappears. Holiness is about reaching for transcendence, not arriving at a place of complacence. This is what Korach did not understand, and this was the spiritual error that cost him so dearly. A Goy Kadosh cannot tolerate such a toxic understanding of Kedusha. It must literally be swallowed up by the earth because it threatens so deeply the path to authentic, and humble spirituality. The 20th century thinker Erin Leib said it well. Quote, "The Judaism of Moshe is arduous. It means knowing that we are not a holy people. The Judaism of Korach is very comforting. It allows every Jew to be proud and boast that he or she is a member of the holy people, which is holy in its very nature. This obligates him to nothing. There is no greater opposition than that between the conception of an am skula as implying subjection to an obligation and am skula as purely a privilege." And here I'm paraphrasing. One risks turning the very notion of a chosen people into one of mere chauvinism. And here, adding my own gloss, in misunderstanding Kedusha, one also stymies the possibility of real and continuous religious growth. Leibowitz concludes, quote, "The uniqueness of the Jewish people is not a fact. It is an endeavor. The holiness of Israel is not a reality, it is a task." As we contemplate Korach this Shabbat, let us use his example as a prod toward an aspirational spirituality, one that rejects the self-satisfaction of asserting that Kulam Kedoshim, we are all already holy, and instead embraces the difficult charge of Kedoshim Tihiyu, we shall be holy, in the future, always, always in the future. Shabbat Shalom.